Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my first video and it will cover my predictions for the upcoming events in One Piece. With Whole Cake Island ending, we learned a few things, and so did the people of the One Piece world. First off, Luffy and his team went into Big Mom's territory to rescue Sanji. In doing so, he sabotaged her plans, and for the most part they made it out alive. That being said, we know, and Luffy knows, he's not ready to fight a Yonko yet after what just happened. During his fight with Katakuri, it left him pretty beat up, and it's fair to assume he wouldn't have beat Katakuri without him injuring himself first during the fight. This, however, is something only we as the viewers know and the witnesses of the fight itself know. And that's where things get interesting. We know that Big News Morgan was present for all of this going down. While he didn't see everything, he does know, because of how the Big Mom Pirates reacted, that Luffy did successfully beat Katakuri and make it out alive. Not only that, but he ruined the wedding and the tea party in the process. We know he's going to report this, and that the news is definitely going to spread fast. That being said, I think this is going to lead to a reunion with someone that we've been waiting for a long time. So, having heard what Luffy accomplished, but knowing that he's reckless and very unprepared for what lies ahead, I believe Shanks and his crew are going to seek out the Straw Hats before they have a chance to fight Kaido. This would serve as a way to give us satisfaction for stalling while Luffy becomes stronger, and also, it would be a logical time to introduce Shanks into the story, as entering a Yonko's territory and making it out alive, I believe, qualifies Luffy as a great pirate now. So if this is true, once the crew is reunited and everything is back on track, we come to the link between Momonosuke and the story of Momotaro. I'm not really going to go into a whole lot of detail on that one. I'm going to link the video from Joy Boy where I heard about it. But basically, there are 5 characters you need to know. Momotaro, the monkey, the dog, the pheasant, and the Oni. Now, in his theory, we know that Momonosuke is Momotaro, Luffy is the monkey, Inuarashi is the dog, Marco is the pheasant, and Kaido would be the Oni. This all makes sense because they worked together to beat the Oni, which is what's pretty much happening in the Kaido arc, as far as we know. But I think there are 3 other characters who fit this too well to be a coincidence. Those 3 characters are the admirals that were present during Marineford. We have Kizaru, Akainu, and Aokiji. Now, why do I think they're related? Well, that's because of their names. Kizaru means yellow monkey, Akainu, red dog, Aokiji, blue pheasant. Their code names are too much of a coincidence to not be linked, in my opinion, which is why I think they're going to show up. The other reason is that if Big News Morgan does spread the word of Whole Cake Island, like I assume he will, obviously the Marines are going to hear about it, just like the rest of the world. And they're definitely going to be aware of the chaos that's going to come from a power balance of the Yonkos being disturbed. It would make sense for them to take action in this scenario. We also know that Blackbeard is after rare and powerful devil fruits, such as the mythical Zoan that Marco possesses, and the potential devil fruit owned by Kaido. This is where I get a little unsure on what's going to happen in my prediction, because I don't really know if he's going to go after Kaido's fruit or if he's going to go after Marco's fruit, because it makes sense that it would be Marco, as all 3 fruits that he's pursued that we know of would have originally been inside of the Whitebeard crew. But it would also make sense that he would want the fruit from a Yonko level person, because that's who he stole from last time. So I'm not really sure where to go on that one. Anyway, all these big characters and possibly remnants of the Big Mom crew showing up, and maybe even the Straw Hat fleet showing up, because they would have heard about this too, I imagine. makes this seem like it's going to be the second Marineford arc, which has heavily been foreshadowed, especially since Kaido himself has said that he wants to start a war. But I don't think anyone expects it to go as smoothly as it did last time, with only a few deaths. So, what I think is that Shanks and his crew are going to try to stop the war, but this time they won't be able to prevent it. And because of that, I'm pretty sure this is where Shanks is going to die. Now, I don't really want him to die here, but I think it makes sense if he would. Now, there's a few reasons for this. The main one is that in Marineford, Ace's death is the direct trigger that led Luffy to power up. If Ace hadn't died, Luffy wouldn't have realized how powerless he was, and he wouldn't have undergone training. So, while we don't have time for another time skip, at least we don't know that we would have time for it, it wouldn't really make sense in the plot right now. We do know that devil fruits can awaken because of the Dressrosa arc, so it's entirely possible that Shanks dying would be the trigger to awaken Luffy's devil fruit, thus giving him the power up he needs to be able to take on a Yonko. Now, this one isn't necessarily related to that, but we do know that Roger passed on his will to Shanks, and Shanks is passing on his will to Luffy, as we've seen with the hat being given to him. It would make sense that this is when Luffy really starts to use his Conqueror's Haki. We know he trained to use it, but the only real example we have of his training is on Fishman Island when he knocked out half of that army. But I doubt that's the extent of him supposedly mastering Conqueror's Haki during his training, especially given what we've seen with all of his other training outcomes. But yeah, anyway, just since we haven't seen the outcome of it, I feel like this would be a good time for it to show up. You know, we see Shanks die, but yet we would see him live on through Luffy using that unreasonably strong Conqueror's Haki capable of destroying shit around him. I just think it would be pretty cool if that's when they decided to use that to its full extent. Anyway, all that being said, I know it was a pretty rough video, not all that well organized as far as the timeline goes, or even the general thoughts, honestly. But this is what I think is going to go down in the future of One Piece, and thanks for watching my first video.